Hey, everybody, it's Steve with Real Progress in Action and Real Progressives. I had an opportunity to interview world renowned economist Steve Keen this weekend. And that podcast will be coming out in a couple weeks from now. But without being a spoiler, one of the things we talked about was just exactly how dire the climate crisis is right now. And we discussed that we're nowhere near ready to deal with this. In fact, we're all in so much denial that it's going to be the choices that we could have to deal with this are going to be taken from us. We're not going to have a choice in the matter. And he believes that there'll be a military command type scenario, a centralization of power that will be required, not even that, boogeyman, that will be required, martial law, things like that. And there will be refugees from all over the world. I mean, you look at what's happening in Australia right now. Places on fire. And they didn't think climate change was real at all. I mean, their politicians laughed at it. They did nothing about it. And now they're on fire. Everywhere you're watching animals just strewn across dead. People, just move somewhere else. Well, it's not that simple, is it? And more to the point, in these very, very arid Middle Eastern, sub-Saharan areas, it's even worse. And it's going to become a humanitarian crisis without the threat of war. However, with the threat of war looming with Iran and folks like Russia and China who have joined at the hip, and with Iraq, who is like, get the hell out of our country. We don't need your help, dudes. Get out of here. We're putting ourselves in a position, not just the U.S., but the world, to where not only are people going to be fleeing bad climate, but they're going to be fleeing war. Now look at Bangladesh and Pakistan as an example. When the Hindus and the Muslims come clashing together because of forced migration, because of climate, and new war begins. And you look at what's happening with the U.S. and Iran, and you look at our southern border and people fleeing situations. We're about to head into something that none of us have seen, not since World War II. This is terrifying. Should be terrifying. But this speaks to other issues like sovereignty, state sovereignty. You look at Iraq saying, how in the world can we allow the U.S. to conduct military operations in their sovereign borders? I mean, they're like, no way, get out. And you look at the Brexit vote in the UK, and those Brits and those working class people, those bigots and racists, those xenophobes, they want their British tradition. They want their tea at 2, and they want their flag, and they want all that goes with it. They don't want to give up their national identity. And when the migrants start going this way and they start going that way, and the xenophobia goes crazy because people are genuinely dealing in scarcity, and you coming there is going to represent a real existential threat to them. Because there's food shortages, there's water shortages. Mass migrations due to war, famine, desert conditions, fires, natural disasters. People were calling people alarmist that said this stuff in the past. Wonder what the folks in Australia are saying right now. Doesn't take much to figure it out. It's all over the Twitter sphere. It's all over the news. Videos are coming up everywhere to show you it's happening right now. California happened right now. Think about the wildfires in California. Paradise. Folks, and let's be fair, when there's war, do things explode? Yeah. And these conditions are already set for massive fires. I just want you to think about this in a slightly different way. We're not just dealing with the crazy man Trump just assassinating foreign nationals and important people in other countries. We're not just talking about that. We're talking about this coming collision between climate change and war. And we're not ready for it. We're not ready for it at all. I don't want to be that guy that spreads doom and gloom unnecessarily. All these protests are fantastic, and I really, really appreciate that people are paying attention and pushing back. It's about damn time. But it's nowhere near enough. And there's a whole lot of things we could do to mitigate the despair that's heading for us. The denialism of not just the climate crisis, but the impending refugee crisis that's going to flow, and the wars that will break out, and the inhumane treatment in the cages all around the world. As people are fleeing and they got nowhere to go, but they cross an invisible border and suddenly they violated a law and they are now captives. You thought Mexico line, that little border right there in Texas and California, New Mexico, etc., was going to be like some unique thing. And in a sense it is. But it's about to become the new norm around the world. I think the question has to be asked, what are we going to do about an immigration policy founded in the belief that I'm okay, you're okay, everything's okay, and life, it's not okay. Nothing's okay. You're already seeing refugees in Australia moving. This is what happened in Syria. The people, they used to be a food sovereign, folks. Syria used to be a food sovereign. And then as it became arid and they couldn't farm, those rural folks moved into the cities. Now, all it took was a little bit of tampering. Now, all of a sudden, you got bloodshed. Folks, I want you to be very, very aware of the fact that this isn't just about Trump rattling sabers with Iran. This isn't just about World War III because of an idiot in the White House. We're dealing with physics at the exact same time. And we don't have a plan for either. I'm Steve Grumbine with Real Progress in Action. Have a great day, everybody. I'm out.